Live from Kakariko Village. Broadcast throughout the Retroverse, transmitted to the real world via a maze of wires connecting a Super Nintendo to a Wii, to a Wi-Fi network, and finally to the internet. The Techno Funk Boy presents the Retro Zoo Super Show. Now here are your hosts, Kai and Steven.
Welcome, this is the Retro Zoo Super Show. And I am your host, Kai, and we are joined today by one of the Backlog Busters himself. Can I call you that?
Sure, you can call me whatever you want to.
Josh Broccolo, thank you for joining me.
Hey, I heard you called me a mouse recently. That was a thing. I'm just kidding.
So this was my first time playing any Animal Crossing at all. Period. Yeah. I did not know that there was a Broccolo in this game, and it kind of tripped me out.
Either you were the first one to tell me. Actually,
how is this a thing?
I didn't know. So, that's one of the things, man. Broccolos are few and far between. I mean, we have big families, but there's barely any of us. So to see a reference to my last name somewhere was just wait, what? I seriously thought, did you doctor that image? What is going on here? And I don't know if that's a popular character. I've only played, up until 2 weeks ago, I had only ever played the first Animal Crossing. And even that, there was so much more that I didn't get it. I basically just paid off my house, and then built it up to its max level and just paid it off. And then I was like, okay, that was a fun game. I win.
Right.
So there's tons more to do, but I was just kind of yeah, no, I'm good. I didn't even know about. I mean, I knew there were other games in the series, but I didn't know any of the popular characters. Obviously, New Leaf was the super popular one, or maybe that was just the timeline of when I started getting back into gaming pretty heavily. And New Leaf was the new kid on the block when everyone was flipping out about it. I mean, even still. Up until New Horizons came out. So anyways, I'm starting to ramble. I just didn't know that there was a character that has my last name. It's surreal because, okay, here's another tangent for you. Sorry, it's gonna happen.
We don't have an hour's worth of material anyway. So by all means,
okay, here we go. I was homeschooled, so my friends were basically either friends from church or kids who were on our street growing up. And one of my good friends, he lived across the street from us. We were friends. This was high school, early high school. We had been friends for probably 6 months at this point, going over to each other's houses, multiple times a week. One time, he finally finds out somehow, maybe he asked me straight up, I don't even remember, but he finds out my last name and he just busts out laughing. He thinks it's hilarious. He doesn't even think it's real. And I'm no, it's Broccolo. That's what it is. And he just thought it was so funny. So we go over to my house. He walks in the door and he just says, "What's up, Broccolos?" and just starts busting out laughing because he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. And there are 5 of us kids. So, there's 7 people in the house and we all just kind of look at him Yeah, like that's what that is actual art. Like we have heard that word every day of our lives.
Right.
Like I get it, to you this is new, but like this is Tuesday. So anyways, so all that to say is that I've never heard my last name outside of the context of it being a unique last name. So the fact that there's a mouse character, also the mouse looks like a dope. I don't like that part, but you know,
hey,
get what you can take. I don't know.
he is I think one of the more fun, less serious characters. But
okay, that's good.
But it's like, that's what tripped me out, because it's like I just assumed that you knew about this because apparently he didn't appear in Wild World, but he's been in the other ones.
Gotcha.
And I guess in Animal Crossing, and this is how new I am to this, like, you know, there's a ton of different characters who might populate your village, but not necessarily. And so maybe our circle of friends just never ran into him because, you know,
that's true. Yeah.
I would have assumed that this had been brought up since we hang out with gamers all day.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, and now I literally just typed my last name into Google and there are pictures of this little mouse. So it's like you would think I would have stumbled on it at some point, but no, that crazy bowl cut underneath his ears. That is interesting.
How do you get the bowl over the ears?
I mean, he's blue, so I assume that's fur anyway. But then you have hair on top of fur. I don't know. This animal has been crossed.
Oh goodness! And I have been playing, and you know, for listeners know, I don't do modern games, you know.
Mm-hmm. I was surprised when you said you were pulled out your Wii.
Yeah. I was like, I'm very consistently 2 generations behind everything.
Okay, there you go.
But you know, and of course, during the Animal Crossing craze, because the New Horizons came out, I'm like, okay, well, let me play the game from 2 generations ago, City Folk, which everybody hates, you know, kind of, at least. And so it's like, and I have been playing this thing daily since
Nice.
I started it, and I'm really enjoying it. But I stopped trying to make sense of this game.
Okay.
It's just, you know, it's just the all of the weirdest stuff possible. And I was like on Easter, you know, there's this character in an Easter costume, and it's like all the quirkiest things that you can just happen upon in this game. You're finding eggs and you're bringing them to him, and every time he complains about how hot it is inside the suit, and his mask is fogging up and stuff like that, and he just says, like, I approached him from behind because it's a video game and no one cares if you approach him from behind, you know. But he turns around and he says, "Look, man, you don't approach me from the zipper side. You do not want to be back there." And it's like, oh, this is amazing that they put this stuff in here.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so for a character who I think appears twice a year or something, or at least once a year, but I think he appears twice a year.
Okay.
So they just throw in weird dialogue like that. It's amazing. But anyways, this I kind of need to set up what brought this up. And I may have brought this up just in passing on the show before, but when I was in college, I did not understand how movies worked at all.
Okay.
And I had written some novels that I hadn't gotten any good novels written yet, but I definitely wanted to get into writing, and I was very interested in getting into screenwriting, and there were a number of things that I thought already existing things that I thought would make just amazing movies that no one was really looking at, I felt. And so I thought that, you know, it's like, hey, if I write a good script, then they'll buy the script and then get the rights for the movies, and not really realizing it's like, no, you get the rights for the movies, then you hire a writer to write the script. But this is the way I was. But like, one of those things was, the first novel based on the game Myst, the Book of Atris, which is an amazing book. It remains one of my favorites. And I actually bought a second copy of the book just to write notes in, to write a script. And I never quite got to that one. But one thing I wanted to do was, I thought Final Fantasy VI, which, of course, we were calling Final Fantasy III at the time.
Yeah.
It had just recently come out.
And that was its title.
And that was the title. Would just make an incredible movie. I still think it would make an incredible movie. I thought it should be a trilogy, and the way I thought it should be presented was to film all of them at once, and just make it a summer thing where like the first weekend in June the first movie comes out, and then like once every 6 weeks the next movie comes out.
Wow.
And this is, and again, not knowing how movies work, that they kind of want a return on the investment of the first film.
Yeah.
And unless they have a lot of confidence, like Lord of the Rings, that this is going to do well. But even then, they were getting returns on the first film as they were still filming the last one.
Yeah.
But this was my goal. And so I wrote, I sat down to write the first script of this trilogy, and I hate telling you this, but I am a very, very big fan of PM Dawn. Now, you're probably thinking, who is that? And I'd like you to just continue thinking that, if that's what you're thinking. Because otherwise you will mock me. But when Prince B of PM Dawn was preparing to write his Jesus Wept album, which is probably their second best album after their self-release final album that they had to pull immediately because they failed to get a sampling right for a single song, which was kind of depressing. But I did get a copy. But he took a vow of silence for, I can't remember how long, but it was a significant amount of time. And to meditate, to contemplate this album and what it was going to be. And when he finished, he started writing the album. And I thought this was a fantastic idea because I was young and stupid. And and I decided, I'm in the last week of summer before school. I didn't have I didn't have a job at the time, and so I was like, hey, I could do this, but I don't want to take the vow of silence and just sit there for a week, and then start writing. I wanted to do them simultaneously, and I ended up writing this script in a number of a matter of 2 or 3 days, and so my vow of silence was not very long. Okay. But at the end of the day, I had script number 1, and it's horribly bad. I was looking at it again, and normally with writers, it's like their first draft is normally bad, and editing is the process of making it good. Yeah. And this script was never edited at all, but still, I wasn't a very good writer at the time, so I don't think that would have helped. But it was just not good at all. I was rereading parts and cringing, and I was thinking about, I was like, well, maybe I could like, scan it and show people. And I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen. Maybe if people really want it, we'll do that on Patreon, but probably not.
Ooh, ideas.
Right. Yeah, that was the thing. So the plan for the movies was it go from the beginning to the return to Narshe, and I do pronounce it Narshe.
Okay.
I don't know what it's supposed to be pronounced, but when Tara meets with the Esper and she flips out and turns pink, and then movie 2 would be start with the hunt for Tara, and then go through the essentially the breaking of the world into the world of ruin. And then movie 3 would be everything from the world of ruin, which there's not a lot of main plot in the world of ruin. There's a lot of character development in the world of ruin.
Right. Yeah.
But you can kind of pick and choose that. It's in movie form. That's not going to be the best. It's like, let's see Locke's story. All right. Now Edgar, go. Sabin, go. Shadow. It's not the best film. And so you kind of have to pick and choose the main characters. And there's plenty that I don't think people would care that much about anyways. And so you could do it. So I still think this would make a fantastic movie trilogy, or maybe a Netflix series, not something compressed into 2.5 hours, please. But,
right.
But I think it would be pretty great. And, probably should have been done instead of The Spirits Within as the first Final Fantasy movie.
I haven't seen it, so I can't say for certain. No, I wanted to back when it first had come out, but then it just bombed so hard that I was like, maybe not.
And I plan to do a review of it and rewatch it, and I'll tell you, the plot is not great and it doesn't always make sense, but I'll tell you, the 99% of the problem is that the characters hit that uncanny valley like really hard.
Okay.
And it's like, guys, I really wish y'all had cartooned them up a little bit, just because it's like the Polar Express. It's like, I really like this movie, but Tom Hanks looks creepy as hell,
Yeah, right.
It's the whole movie is like that, and it's just in that groove that when there's not a person on the screen, you're like, this is so beautiful, this looks so real, and then a character walk on, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, but that will be for another time. So, actually getting to our topic is, I brought this up actually in y'all's group, and this will be probably a good time to mention, where you're from and why I'm talking to you about this, because I was having fun in your channel. You are on the Backlog Breakdown podcast, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. That's the one.
The Facebook group is the Beatdown.
That's the book club.
The book club.
Yes.
Gosh, y'all need to get some.
We do short episodes. We call them bite sized.
Right.
And yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. There's no real theme. It's all just the ridiculousness.
Yes.
But it's okay. I'm named after a mouse, apparently. So
right. Yes. Come join the Backlog Breakdown with your host, a blue mouse.
With a bowl cut.
Right.
Separate hair.
I am, and a lot of people, I found out a lot of people don't know this because not all podcast apps show this, but like every episode of the zoo has custom thumbnail artwork.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I am going to put Broccolo on today's episode.
That's okay.
Beside all the Final Fantasy VI characters, just Broccolo at the corner.
Just yes. Just have him pop up. He'll be the Easter egg.
Right. Yes. Oh, but yeah. So we got I tossed it out and to the actually the Bachacho Lounge in your group, which is the Patreon lounge.
Yeah.
And I was expecting a mutual friend of ours to jump in. Turns out he hasn't played this game. Just like, I mean, I fell out of my chair. But I thought we came up with some good stuff, and so I thought we would have some fun. And I tossed it out also on Twitter, on the Technofunk Boy Facebook page,
nice
on my channel, and I also looked up some other lists that people had on Reddit and other places.
Interesting.
So we have a lot of good choices, but we are going to, and this is, I mean, the rules here are, we are casting Final Fantasy VI for a live action movie. This is going to be filmed now. And so we can't get like young De Niro, right?
Okay.
Okay. That would make it more complicated, but,
yeah, I mean, with the technology nowadays, you could
well,
about
that's
the
true.
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, well, it's like
no.
one person is like, and we're gonna get to him, but one person I've had a lot of trouble with is Locke, and somebody on Facebook suggested, well, as far as character and attitude goes, Robert Downey Jr. would be perfect. It's like, actually, he would be perfect, except he's 40 years too old.
Right.
For the
yeah.
role. But yeah, dang, if we could have gotten him back in the Ally McBeal days or something, that would have been amazing.
Yeah. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Because Locke is a difficult one. He's a hard man to pin down.
Yeah. And so we had two suggestions for, we just need these actors in the movie.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter who they are. One of them is, and I agree with both of these.
Okay.
Some of these I'm not going to agree with, but I agree with both of these. Benedict Cumberbatch and Nick Cage. Just both of these people must be in this film.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. I hadn't thought about the old Cage. That's man, oh man. Yeah, he's there's... Oh, no, I got it. Perfect. Yeah. I know who.
Who?
Ultros.
Ultros would be good, yeah.
Nick Cage is Ultros. Totally.
Yes.
Because he's such a strange, just weird, out off the wall. Like, what is he doing here? Why is he saying these things? He's Nick Cage. I mean, unfortunately, you wouldn't really. I mean, that would be weird if you kind of shaped his face to look like Nick Cage. But
Ultros would be what. Like I'm a firm believer. Like Mog needs to be a Muppet. We do not need a CGI Mog. Yeah. But Ultros, I think, has got to be a CGI. I found two suggestions from Reddit that I didn't think of either of these, but I think they would be be great, either one.
Okay.
If you wanted an Ultros kind of in his like original, like a Nick Cage type of a character, that kind of goofy comic relief, Steve Buscemi just reading the straight lines out of the movie would be trippy. It would be great.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to really make him a lot darker and a lot more serious, you could get Andy Serkis to do the voice, but that would be a full change of character.
Sense. Yeah. Yeah. So for Ultros, I had written down, and this was kind of a question mark. I was like, he could pull it off. I was thinking maybe Nathan Lane. Just because, just like it would be not a different character, but because he can do over the top as well as. Also, you kind of meet him in that opera scene, so that was in my head as well. I don't know.
Yes.
All these are like different Ultroses, but I like them all.
Yeah. Now, hold on. The opera scene is after Narche. So, I never wrote the opera scene. Now I'm angry at myself.
Oh, wow.
It's like, I was sitting there wondering if, because I do remember Ultros is in my script in the river scene.
Yes, yeah, when you first meet him, yeah, okay.
But man, Ultros has the best line from that opera scene where he's going, "Oh, this is a really heavy weight. I think it's going to take me about 5 minutes to push it."
Yes. Oh, so good.
Oh,
so good.
Man. Yeah, everything about that scene is just perfect.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Now I'm leaning more toward Nathan Lane because I think he could do that really well. And you know what? I thought of someone else for Nick Cage that would be kind of just weird. What if he was Sid?
Now, Sid, I did not have anyone for Sid.
Yeah, because he plays such a minor role. Really.
He does. The where I hesitate on that is that on the island with Celis, he's, we'd have to get Nick Cage on a good day to do kind of some dramatic dying scenes. And by the way, the first time I played Final Fantasy III, when it first came out, and Sid died.
Yeah, same here. I didn't know you could save him.
I didn't either. And like this game was so new back. I was like, I got it on cartridge for SNES, and this game was so new. It's like I was mentioning to y'all. It's like I don't remember knowing that Kefka was the bad guy. I recall being kind of surprised when Kefka takes out Gestalt and kind of just. Well, takes out everybody, really.
yeah, the entire flipping world.
Right. The one thing that's Wes, if you're listening by now, I'm sorry, but you asked for it. The only thing that kind of spoiled things from the packaging is it had a 2-sided map, and on the back of the map was the world of ruin, and so you knew something was going to happen, which was kind of honestly was kind of a bummer, but man, that's a great map though.
Yeah.
So I did not have anyone for Sid, actually Sid, Realm. I could not think of anybody for Realm.
Yeah.
And I left Go-Go blank because I just wasn't sure that we'd even put him in the movie, honestly.
He doesn't talk.
Right? Yeah.
So, and literally all you see are some eyes poking out from tons of clothes. So yeah, it could be just about anyone. Maybe that should be Nick Cage. You just see Nick Cage's eyes like bulging out at you from underneath like 6 layers of clothes.
Oh no, this is perfect. This is perfect because we would then make Nick Cage imitate everyone's fighting style.
I think we just struck gold here. There we
That's
go.
Perfect. That's
there
perfect.
We go. Go. Nick Cage's go. Okay, we got it. Boom. Perfect.
Yeah. So I didn't write down a lot of the minor characters. Like, I mean, there's a ton of minor characters. Getting back to Cumberbatch, and Cumberbatch was suggested for somebody else, but I was thinking because there's a really, really cool emotional scene that's kind of a flashback with the Esper Maduin.
Yeah.
I think that and he's an Esper, so he would have to be, either prosthetic up or CGI. But I think that Cumberbatch's voice for Maduin in that scene would be really cool.
That's a really good point. Oh man, yeah. So when you'd first talked about this, I had suggested him for Shadow because there's not too much. I mean, he's much more of a physical character, but he could do that gruff kind of fake American accent like he does with Doctor Strange. And that's kind of how I would see Shadow. Because he's a pretty. I mean, everyone in this game is a tragic character, but he is definitely a tragic character as well. And that's why I love it. But. Sorry. That was just my idea with Cumberbatch at first, but no, that's a really good one. I had someone else for Madeline.
Oh, who did you have?
So, I mean, in my head, this was younger, so this is cheating. But I was thinking Madeline and Madeline would be like Mel Gibson and Kate Blanchett, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So just because like Madeline is another kind of like gruff looking, like,
yeah,
I don't know. I was thinking like Braveheart, like he looks like a wild man.
Right.
That's kind of the idea of Madeline, but just for the otherworldly nature of Cumberbatch's voice, that's, oh man, that's a really good one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I did mention in the group when you were talking about everybody's a tragic character, and like if you're playing Final Fantasy VI and you realize this, the game is actually going to be better for you. The game does not contain an opera. The game is an opera.
Mm-hmm.
The character arcs are operatic. The music, Uematsu is using operatic conventions and themes in the music, and I'm convinced the opera in the middle of the game is just to point that out to you. Besides them just going, look, y'all have not sat down and listened to Uematsu's music enough yet.
Right.
So just sit there yeah. and listen to this opera because it's amazing, and it is amazing. But anyway, so
nice.
A couple of the other kind of more minor characters, or I should say major minor characters, like Leo, Baron, or Gestalt. Hi, pardon the interruption. This is Kai from the future. I do not know why I called Baron, but for the rest of the episode, we continue to call him Baron. I just wanted you to know that I do know what the character's name is. I'm gonna head back now. Back to the future. I have a few for them, and everyone else I think is major. But the suggestion I made for Leo, just because I really like the stuff I've seen Brad Pitt in, where he's playing like, gruff military men. I really like him in those. But I saw the suggestion online of Idris Elba as Leo, and I think that's better.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh man, how did I not think of him? Like just in the cast in general. Yeah, that's a good one. For General Leo, for me, I had put down somewhat of a joke, but Sean Bean. That's what I figured would be a good General Leo.
Oh, that is good. That is good, because Leo is that character who is. It's like in my first playthrough, I'm so impressed with Leo as a character.
Yeah,
and it's like, and I'm like, and I know that when I finally get to fight him, it's going to be epic. And I love this character, and then you don't fight him.
Right.
And there were so many rumors going, around at the time that, there was like a secret boss in the world of Ruin that he actually survived, and he's there. And if you find him, you fight him, and he gives you a sword or something. It's nonsense. He's not there.
Yeah.
But, he just, he just ups and bites it really quick, and it's great. It's a great moment. Oh yeah, Sean Bean would kill it then, pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. So you said you also had Baron and Gestalt.
Yes,
I had one for Baron, but what's yours?
Ron Perlman, and this is something I saw on Reddit.
Okay,
and I love me some Ron Perlman, and I would, put him in anything, much like Nick Cage, Benedict Cumberbatch. And so I think that'd be a good spot for him, because Baron's such just an imposing figure in the game, and you're not expecting him to be just so big and just towers over everybody. And he has that just presence in the game that you're like, no wonder he's able to lead this group. He's just an impressive character.
And
I think like
Gestalt
someone
is
like
not
Perlman
dumb. I mean, like he's
do really
he's
well
just
with
power
that.
hungry, but he's
Yeah.
not a dumb.
Yeah,
character,
no, that's
so
a good one.
I
Mine,
had
I
along
don't
those
know.
same lines. I was thinking John Rhys
Who did you
Davies.
have?
Yes, well,
yes.
I
But,
came up with
yeah,
someone actually
the same
earlier
reasons.
today,
You
and
know,
and as I was doing Reddit,
Right.
somebody else did
That's
the
cool.
same one, and so hopefully I'm on the right path here. Patrick Stewart.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
I mean, he's
Okay.
he has that kind of leadership presence, and
Yeah.
obviously has the acting chops. He could do anything.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. He could. You could even cast him as a number of different characters. That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as far as you had a good idea for Umaro,
Mhm.
which I was going to skip, but you had a really great idea for him.
Dave
So
Bautista. Yeah,
Yes.
straight up. I mean,
yeah, that'd
there
be
you go.
great.
He's perfect.
Right.
He doesn't like just get him right off of the set of Guardians of the Galaxy and he's fine. You know, just give him like a coat and he'll be okay. And isn't he, if I remember, it's been a long time since I played this game, especially that far into the game where I actually get Umaro. He only says his name, right? He's like a Pokemon.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not just making that up then. Yeah. So, yeah, he could rock that. You know,
what
like two words.
And what is it? I think Mog actually starts talking in the world of Ruin, and everybody's surprised. If I remember that right, but that's been a long time.
Yeah.
But Mog is like I said, I do not want CGI Mog.
Yeah.
I want Muppet Mog.
I agree.
And as there can be only one person to play Mog.
Yes.
And this goes back into the tradition of, this person needs to be in these movies. It's like, I mean, first of all, because he's amazing.
Yes.
But secondly, because he's been in all of these great films.
Right.
So go ahead.
It's Warwick Davis. It can't be
Yes.
anyone else. It has to be Warwick Davis. He is just amazing at everything.
Absolutely. Yes. Did you come up with anybody for Realm?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie Logan. I've heard it's really good. I know there was a young actress in that.
That's a possibility. I don't know who she is. I gotta look that up.
Don't know any young actresses like that. Outside of like Disney Channel shows that I'm just or what the comeback of, not Saved by the Bell, but whatever those Netflix shows are that my wife likes to watch that have come back from 90s sitcoms. Things like that where it's just like you have to be a bad actor to actually be in the show.
Yeah.
So Realm is pretty much oblivious the whole time. She's not. Her character is very important to other characters.
Right. Yes, and that's the thing.
In particular,
right? We have to have Realm in the movie.
Yeah,
because of her effect on other people.
Yes.
And I think that's important. So yeah, okay. So Daphne Keane is the actress's name, and that is the only movie I've seen her in. She's 15 at this point, and so Realm is it. And honestly, we cannot go by the ages that Japanese video game makers created for all these characters, because Terra and Celis. By the way, General Celis is 18 years old.
Really?
No. Yes, because because Japan. I mean,
yeah. There you go.
But I was thinking of the actress who played Arya Stark in Game of Thrones, because I like the way she looks, and I think that would be a good Realm. But I looked it up, and Realm in the game is 10 years old. Yeah. And it's like, oh no.
Well then.
Yeah. Which we mentioned makes it all the more creepy that I forgot what the exact line is, but Edgar at one point tells her, it's like, hey, few years, give me a call.
Yeah.
Once again, because Japan.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
It's the end of the world. Just
Yeah.
Nicole.
But yeah, honestly, we're gonna age the female leads a little bit, and I think it'd be okay to age Realm a few years as well.
Yeah, and in that case, you just said it. I can't think of her name, but I do think the actress who plays Arya Stark would be good. Not that I've seen much of her acting, just the little bit that I have seen. My wife and I watched the first episode of Game of Thrones, decided it was not for us. So we just haven't seen it, but from what I have seen, I think she'd be a good fit.
Right, and that's Maisie Williams, and she's 22 now. I think she could pull off a teenager.
What? Oh my goodness.
For sure. So, I think that would work.
Okay. So next on the list, who we got? Is it? I was thinking Strago.
Yeah, Strago. Mm-hmm.
Strago. So I've got two people. One is not possible. But I was thinking Christopher Lee, and in my notes I wrote R.I.P.
Yes.
I just thought he would have been a great Strago.
By the way, if Christopher Lee was alive, he would have been my Gestalt.
Okay,
because Christopher Lee is amazing.
That works. Yeah, he really is. What a mountain of a man.
Yeah.
So anyways, either him or, since he cannot play the role, I was thinking Hugo Weaving.
That'd be fun.
He's good at playing. I mean, Lord of the Rings. He was I was about to say Rivendell. No. Oh, come on. Why can't I think of his name? Come on. Elrond. There you go. Yeah. Elrond Hubbard. And no, I'm just kidding.
Every single time. Not even joking. Every single time. That jerk science fiction writer, he couldn't go by his first name. Come on.
Yeah. But like, even just, the way that he interacts with Arwen in those movies, he does it really well. Just that dad figure. Yes. And now that he's older, I think he could do Strago really well. So that was my pick.
Yeah, I like that. I actually like that better than the one I wrote down. And this was a Reddit idea, not my own. But Michael Caine, I think, would make a good Strago as well.
He would. It would take a different approach, because I would think Hugo Weaving would be more of like the hard line, like, stop, don't get into trouble. Whereas Michael Caine would be a bit softer, but he would be good, or like more like forced into war.
Right.
Yeah. No, they'd both be good, just different.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Okay, so heading up, I have Setzer next, and I actually think your idea was the best one that I found. I wrote down a couple more that people suggested for Setzer that I think might not be right for Setzer, but I want them in the movie.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
But I think your idea was actually spot on for him.
Yeah, the only person I could think of, it just immediately came. Johnny Depp would be Setzer. Like, there's no one else, because he's a little not quite as girl crazy as Edgar, but he's got that streak to him, and he's just crazy. He's a gambler, so Johnny Depp.
Nice, yeah. So somebody on Reddit suggested David Tennant for Setzer, who I don't see as Setzer, but I love David Tennant.
Right.
And I would love to have him
do really good
in the movie as someone else, like as a Sid or somebody.
Yeah.
The other one who I can see much more, because I think this guy has that kind of range, was Tom Hiddleston.
Okay.
Which,
okay.
I think he might be a little. I have trouble figuring out how old Setzer is. Let me see what the book actually says.
Yeah, that's a good question, because he could be old. I mean, he's got silver hair, but because Japan, he's probably 16. I don't know.
Okay, you're not going to believe it.
What?
27.
Okay.
I always thought of him as not just middle-aged, but like not even 40, but 50.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he does come on, and starts hitting on 18-year-old Celis, General Celis, who
there you go.
became a general of the army at 18 years old.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that we have a Setzer that's 27.
No.
But
I don't think he has to be.
Yeah, but I think even in his 30s and 40s, that's definitely doable for Setzer. Setzer really could be played anywhere from 35 to 60, and it would work.
Yeah. No, he totally could.
That be definitely a possibility. Gao is one that I think both of us had trouble with.
Yeah,
did you come up with?
I didn't.
A suggestion from the internet, which I kind of like, was Tom Holland. I think that might work. I've never seen him act in that kind of way.
Yeah,
but I think he's, his look and the kind of the physicality of the way he acts, I think is doable.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking, like, I can't think of anything outside of Spider-Man that I've seen him in, so I just don't know if he'd be able to.
I do love him as Spider-Man, though.
Yes, total 100%. I think he's fantastic. So sure, if he can pull it off. But it makes it like he does have the look of someone younger. Because how old is Gao? 14? I don't know. He's. In my head, he was more like probably in the like 16 to 18 range.
13.
Okay. Yeah. There you go. You go.
But I think
is up. Yeah, that's strange.
It's Japan. I mean,
Baron was the ripe old age of 32. Gestalt 37. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, it's like I've recently played through Bravely Default.
Mm-hmm.
That actually Wes was kind enough to loan me, and
nice.
and had a lot of fun with it. But in reading it, it's like they were all like 15.
Really?
In the original game, and they aged them all to 18 and 19 for the West.
There you go.
Because, goodness, have you played the game? They need to be 18 and 19 at least.
Yeah. Good.
But Gao has an incredibly emotional story arc that comes out of nowhere. And it's a punch to the face.
Yeah.
When it happens in game. But I think we're kind of getting into, though, the main characters, and Gao needs to be there, first of all, because of his relationship with Cyan, which I think is fantastic and adds a lot of humor. But also, Gao's carrying a lot of emotional weight that you don't recognize at first.
Yeah.
But I would say that everyone else is a major character.
Yeah.
The first one being Shadow. You already mentioned Benedict Cumberbatch. I think would be really good. I was thinking perhaps like a Ray Park. I love Ray Park. He's done some of the coolest characters, and especially with full masked Shadow. That's kind of right up his alley.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Cyan. There's a lot of ways we could go with Cyan.
Okay. See, I didn't. After our conversation, I was kind of like, okay, that's good enough. I didn't continue thinking anymore. So originally, I said Antonio Banderas if you could go younger, but you can't. So in that case, I figured Adam Driver would be a good Cyan, just because he has a good range from what I've seen from him. Right. And he has that look, that vaguely Spanish look.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that would be amazing. Then that would focus more on the drama of Cyan, which I think would be good. One of the Reddit suggestions is Josh Brolin. who I think would be pretty cool as well in that role. It's just Josh Brolin is just cool in general.
Yeah.
If we wanted a more action oriented, Cyan, I was thinking, Keanu Reeves in, just, the dog doesn't die this time, but Cyan is basically John Wick with swords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if we wanted to go into a really kind of martial arts direction, the guy who, I'm going to mess up his name for sure, but the guy who plays Mad Dog in Raid Redemption, is just an amazing athlete and martial artist. His name is Yayan Ruhian. I'm going to go with that. And I think he's Indonesian. And he was also in episode 7, Star Wars. But, have you seen Raid Redemption?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Have you seen the movie Dread? With what's his name? Not the Stallone Dread, but the newer one.
Okay. No, I haven't seen the newer one.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. So Raid Redemption is this Indonesian martial arts movie, and it's just about this like group of they're basically SWAT members who are raiding this building.
Okay.
Where they're manufacturing drugs or something. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the whole movie is them fighting their way to the top.
Okay.
That's the movie. And that's also the plot for Dread, which and both of them are great films. So Raid Redemption starts off with it being like a gun battle with them shooting, and then everybody runs out of ammo, and then it's just martial arts for the rest of the movie. But it's fantastic, and it has some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen.
Nice.
So I'll forward you the one where they fight Mad Dog. He's one of the villains, but I'll forward you the scene where he fights Mad Dog, because they fight Mad Dog because it's just great martial arts.
Okay, sweet.
But yeah, so I think with Cyan, the drama is the more important part to draw out.
Yeah.
Rather than, make him a big action hero. But yeah, some different directions. I don't like my script has the Phantom Train in it. Sabin does not suplex the Phantom Train, which
man,
which I don't know. But I don't know how you do that scene in a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's just so far out of left field.
Right, exactly. Which is what kind of grabs you when you're playing it. You're just like, this is so surreal and weird, and what is happening?
Oh, and I think it's the first gut punch of the game.
Yeah.
When that thing starts pulling away, and when it pulls away, Cyan runs after it, and then the screen goes black, and it comes back, and everybody's still standing where they were, and you realize that they've just been standing there for a long time, and it's like, oh man, that's I want something like that in the movie. I don't know that the Phantom,
right. Yeah. How do you do that? It's
right.
That's interesting. So just as I'm looking at Cyan's information, can you guess how old he was supposed to be from the game?
See, Cyan is weird because his profile pic looks weathered. But he also has a young son.
Right.
And so I'd say he looks 50, but he's probably 35, 30.
You actually hit it on the head. He is 50 years old.
He's 50. He's just banging out a kid at 50. Good for him.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind is I always skewed him much younger because he had just started a family.
Right, yeah.
But oh my goodness. Wow. Huh.
Well,
something.
actually,
You're hanging out with a bunch of 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
Or in his case, yeah, Cyan's a 13, or excuse me, Gao's a 13-year-old. So
right. It's
okay.
it's like you can't even count on Setzer to help you out because he's hitting on the teenagers.
Right.
He's like, come on, man, you're the closest to my age. You're 27.
Wow.
But that's
man.
see, that's great. I think he should be 50.
Okay.
Because
okay.
it's like especially with his look, it's like he has that. He has a presence in the game. And
yeah.
And part of it is because his tragedy hits so early in the game, where you realize right away that he is quite literally carrying Ghost along with him, and he has that kind of that certain melancholy look to him the whole time. Yeah, and I like the idea of him being a little bit older, and he's seen things,
Right,
he's been through some stuff.
Because the first scene you see him in, he's like freaking out because of his people were poisoned. Yeah. And so, he's like, this shouldn't happen kind of a thing. Like you see the kind of like righteous indignation that he has. So yeah. And you're talking about carrying ghosts, like, not only does it show up early in the game, it's like through the entire game. It keeps coming back. Yes. And you're just like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, this guy. This guy. What a great character.
And when you find him in the world of Ruin and figure out what he's been up to, it's just heartbreaking. Yeah,
exactly. I think the only other Final Fantasy character I can think of who's like close to that level of just emotional depth is probably Cloud Strife.
So that's been our program for today.
Sorry, I had to take a pot shot because I'm a jerk. No, the remake looks cool. I'm not, whatever. It's just not my thing. But actually, it's largely because of this game. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. I just wanted to. I had to slip it in. So who's next?
The number of times I used the "get out" GIF.
Yes,
in chat.
Yes.
When I was mentioning Kefka being the greatest villain ever.
Right.
What about Sephiroth? Get out.
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm physically going to hold myself back from going down that tangent. Yeah. All that to say is that the reason I'm not big on 7 is because of 6.
Interesting. Okay.
That's all that I'll say.
Oh, now I kind of want to know. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Just the depth of everything, all the characters and everything, and then you play a game with Legos and like grim dark Hot Topic kids. And don't get me wrong, I was a Hot Topic kid in middle school, or excuse me, in high school, but like it doesn't have depth to it. So anyways, that's just me.
Going off that very, very briefly, I think that's the reason I love 9 so much. It's because of 7 and 8.
Okay.
Because like I go back and play 9 and it's like, man, this story's good. These characters are great. I love all the Easter eggs from previous. I mean, this is a love letter to Final Fantasy. It's a lot of fun. It's energetic, but I'm like, man, the load time for battles is ridiculous. I'm like, why did I like this so much? And I think it is because 7 and 8 were so depressing that it was really cool to have a hero that smiled, and he did jokes and he played around and there was slapstick and ridiculous situations. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Yeah. This is like bringing back this energy. Like when you first met Gao and he's like making fun of Cyan, for the way he talks and just this great stuff. Oh, and what does he call him? Mr. Thou? The whole game. It's so funny.
Yeah.
But it just brings back those types of moments that I think were that they were so missing from the PlayStation 1 era.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I do have to say that as much as I'm not big on I don't hate 7. I'm just not big on it. And I just think it's overrated. Is that I personally 8 was way worse for me just because of the way that it ended. It was so dumb. But now I've said more than my 2 cents. I'm sorry. We're here to cast a movie, and I just keep talking about other things.
Well, we'll cast 8 next.
Oh my goodness.
By the way, unfortunately, like, Squall is probably my least favorite hero of all the games I've played.
Mm-hmm.
But Renoa is like, she's not the top of my list of heroines in the games.
Mm-hmm.
That is Rydia, but
okay,
she's top 5 for me. And it made me so mad that she went after Squall. You know, it's just like, dude, girl, you could do so much better. I know you're a terrorist like every other person in Final Fantasy these days, but still. All right, so
interesting.
Sabin, I only had one choice. I looked up everybody's list. Every list had the exact same choice.
Okay.
Did you have somebody for Sabin?
The only person I could think of was Chris Evans.
Which would probably be my second choice. But Chris Hemsworth was my first.
Yeah.
Tons of people put down Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything his brothers have done, but if they're remotely good, it'd be fun to put one of them as Edgar.
That's true. That's true. I was thinking you'd do both of them the same person, but that makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely, that would be a lot of fun too.
It works,
is to have one of them all ripped in the like the wife beater tee, going around, and the other one with braided hair. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
I wonder if it would be just because like the game. Well, I mean, no, it told you. Yeah, pretty much when you were introduced to Sabin, you knew that he was Edgar's brother.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of funny, if in the movie, like, it's not spelled out, but it's like obvious because it's the same freaking actor right in front of you.
Right. And that would wait. I'm trying to think if there was a flashback the first time you stayed in the castle, and I think there might have been where Sabin is mentioned, but that's movable. But but you're not in the mountains looking for him. You're trying to cross. So
right.
It would be cool if he just suddenly appears and you're like, and Tara and Locke are like, are they looking like the same person?
Yeah.
It'd be pretty great. So you put Chris Evans as Edgar as well.
Yeah, I mean, just because I think he would make a good Sabin. He played a scrawny dude in the first Captain America, so he could pull it off.
Well, with all that clothes on, you don't even have to. You don't even have to buff him down.
Yeah.
Edgar, despite his just general creepiness, Edgar is my favorite male character in the game.
Wow.
I love his auto crossbow. All of his just his steampunk. I love steampunk stuff, and all of his steampunk crap that he just pulls out. And I think it's just a lot of fun.
Castle that like goes through the sand.
Yeah.
I
think all that stuff.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But
and, like, as jokey as he is, as like you mentioned, a little creepy. But I mean, he's just. It's to me, it's not so much creepy as it is just like any female.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, it's not anyway. Yeah. Just But
he's he
has
super
a class
competent
about him.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right.
He is
exactly.
Super competent. Like, I mean, the way he saves Fajaro out of the sand in the World of Ruin. Essentially getting a bunch of thieves to do it for him. Is super cool. And it's like, and it's that kind of thinking that just makes him a truly great leader. And he's right. I mean, he he's one of the only people in the game who successfully defends against the Empire. When Kefka comes to him, he literally, I mean, puts Kefka on his butt in the sand in that scene, and it's just like he's just in control. He reminds me of like at the end of Empire Strikes Back, when Lando is communicating with that dude with the visor on his head. And they just had, I mean, just with glances and little buttons, they have a plan worked out, and they're ready to go, and they're moving. It kind of the stuff he does there, it kind of reminds me of that it's just like you don't even know he's in control, but he's in complete control.
Yeah. No, totally. And in that sense, he could be played. I think like Robert Downey Jr. could actually pull him off. Well, although I don't know how he would do it with long hair. That might be kind of weird. But then he couldn't do Sabin, so it wouldn't make sense.
And
maybe I just have Marvel Avengers in the brain. I don't know.
That'd be a pretty big age difference, though.
Yeah. At this point, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
One of the people in Reddit mentioned like Ryan Reynolds or Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they could pull it off.
Yeah. Oh man, those are good. I like them.
Yeah. All right. Well, heading up to kind of the big three. Where this game doesn't really have a particular hero. I think Celis is the hero of part 2, and Terra or Locke, or the two of them are maybe the hero of part 1.
Yeah.
But I think these are the big three: Celis, Locke, and Terra.
Yeah.
Which I had enormous trouble with all three of these.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because they're so iconic to me, and I think it's iconic in general. Like these, I have spent so much time with these three people.
Yeah. Well, and they all have a depth to them where like how they are on the surface is not necessarily what's going on. They're like an onion. They have layers. Sorry.
Also, they stink.
Anyway, so who do you have for? Oh, sorry.
Oh, and that was my problem with Locke. Is you had to have the super suave, roguish type character who's always there to save the day and have a quip up his sleeve, and then by the end, who has to have like some real emotional depth.
Yeah.
And so I was completely lost on Locke. Celis of the three, I think Celis I had the best idea of any of them. Which was Karen Gillan.
Yeah.
From Avengers, Guardians, and Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Doctor Who is more of what I'm thinking of instead.
Right.
But
not quite as wooden.
but she like everything I've seen her in, she's just she's playing that role right, and it's definitely not typecast. And Celis is one of those characters who both Celis and Terra, who have like both of them literally abused by the Empire, literally. But Celis is like on one hand like this competent general. On another hand is just this victim of actual abuse by the Empire. Yeah. And then on the other hand is kind of lost in the woods and looking for her place, and is therefore the perfect character, singing the aria in the opera as Maria, of someone who is forced into this situation and is lost and doesn't know where she's supposed to turn. And that's a lot to take on by one character. And And then
Yeah.
and then if they write the script like I played the game the first time, she's gonna have to mourn over poor dead Sid because she kept getting
Right.
slow fish instead of the fast fish.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, that's true. Dang. Well, yeah, Karen Gillan's definitely a good one for the role. The person I thought of was Natalie Portman. I think could pull it off.
Yeah. I mean, I have a Natalie Portman embargo on any.
Okay.
And okay, Natalie Portman is great in movies that she wants to be in.
Yeah.
And Natalie Portman is horrible in movies if she doesn't want to be there. And,
that makes sense.
And every movie I like is movies that she doesn't like.
Gotcha.
I mean, she wants to be like, all high drama, and then she gets in, a really kind of cool role in like, Star Wars and Thor, and it's like, no, I'm just going to be completely wooden and terrible in this.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And I do think that we definitely have to age Celis at least a little bit, because 18 is ridiculous I mean, look, Gestalt is not the best person in picking generals. Like, Leo is a really good choice. Leo's great. Mm-hmm. Celis, the 18-year-old girl, just because she has magic, I'm not sure about. Yeah. And then letting your jester like go on missions and can command soldiers, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had
to have that comic relief. What were you going to say?
I have no one for Locke, and I think you had some decent ideas.
Yeah. So, sorry. It just kind of hit me. The look kind of works. I'm not quite so sure of his range, but he might be able to pull it off. I actually don't even like him very much, but I respect him much more than I like him. And that is Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Which on paper just sounds weird for because Locke is such a great character. And again, I'm just not big on Timberlake in general, but I do think he has the look. And he can be very charismatic. It would just depend on kind of the depth. I haven't seen him in like really dramatic roles, at least none that come to mind.
I saw him in The Social Network, and he wasn't overly dramatic in that movie, but he was really good. Yeah. And I like him a lot more as an actor than as a musician. And it's like, and pardon the play on, on the song titles, but if we're going to have a character bringing sexy back, it should be Locke, Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's decent.
And this just came because you mentioned him earlier, actually. I think Leonardo DiCaprio could pull him off.
Yeah. Leonardo could. The age might be a problem there, especially if he's going to be our romantic lead. Mm-hmm. But man, I'd kill to get Leo in the movie. He's just great.
Yeah. I don't know, but cool. That's all that I got. That's all that I got for Locke.
And I'd say that Timberlake is not young,
right? But he also doesn't seem to have aged at all.
No, he doesn't.
He's one of those guys.
Right. It's like, and I know this is not a big name, but I really like him. Get like a Jamie Costa.
Jamie Costa, who is that?
He's been I don't think he's been a star in a lot of stuff, but he did the Han Solo short on YouTube. That was just amazing. And he did the recent Obi-Wan one.
Interesting. Okay.
But he does some amazing impressions, and he's done a lot of work being Jack Nicholas and stuff. But I'm just a Jamie Costa fan. I don't know how much of a name he is to draw people in, but I think he deserves more roles like this than he's getting. And so I'll have to send you some of his Star Wars work, because his When they announced the Han Solo movie, he had already done this short for YouTube, and he nails Han. Like,
wow.
all the mannerisms and stuff, it was just perfect. And so
Nice.
I was online going, please cast Jamie Costa, and they didn't.
Of course not.
But it was he ended up crowdfunding an Obi-Wan short that was very good.
Okay.
And he does a great Ewan McGregor as well.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, so that was worth a look. Tara, I actually think I found a Reddit idea for Tara that might like with everybody else, I was having a lot of trouble with Tara, but I really like this idea. And that is Summer Glau.
Okay. Who is that?
She played River in Firefly.
Okay.
And she was also in Sarah Connor Chronicles, the Terminator TV show, which was actually very underrated. That show was really good.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and she played a Terminator in that, and she was really good in it.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. I don't know that I've really seen anything with her much outside of I haven't finished Firefly. I've seen a few episodes. I know.
I am not sure why we are friends.
Get out.
Get out. Get out. Show us over.
We're done.
But like in both of those roles, in Firefly and in Terminator, they're very different roles, but in both cases, she plays someone who has been, manipulated and like physically manipulated, by this enemy, taken control of by the enemy, and then escapes, and so I think she's I'd actually like to see her in more, because I really liked her as an actress.
Yeah, I
don't know what she's been up to lately. I'm so far behind on literally everything.
Gotcha. So you haven't seen Tiger King yet? No, I'm just kidding.
I haven't. No, I don't have Netflix anymore, and it's like about the same week we were getting rid of Netflix. I found out that Zack Snyder's next film is going to be on Netflix. I'm like, oh, come on! I love Zack Snyder.
Well, there you go. So okay. What was I going to say? I don't even remember what I was going to say. So,
Tara.
Yes, Tara. That's right. So when we were talking early, in the Discord, the person that came to mind, I haven't changed. I think she would be good, because in my mind, Tara is younger comparatively. Which you're right. Now that I'm thinking back to something like Locke, DiCaprio would be weird. Because like the Tara that I'm thinking of, so the person, I didn't even know her name really. I just seen some movies with her in it. Her name is Anya Taylor-Joy. So I know her primarily from The Witch, which is a recent horror movie. Well, I say recent, 5 or 6 years old.
It's pronounced the
Vitch. Yeah, exactly. There's no reason why it's spelled that way. It's just because it's weird. Just unsettling. But they don't. It has nothing to do with the movie. But then also you pointed out she's in. Why can't I think of the name of the
Split in Glass?
Split. Yes, there you go.
In Split, that she's playing that kind of role that that Tara's in at the beginning of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
But yeah, I think that she impressed me in those films. I was a huge fan of both of those films. And I thought she was great in both. So I think that'd be fantastic. Which leaves us with Kefka.
So crazy guy. Also, so just as we were talking, I was looking at actors and things like that. I just got to throw in one little bit of comic really. I mean, I guess Kefka is comic relief, but going back to sort of the beginning, Ultros. I just thought of someone else for Ultros. I know we have like 6 Ultroses, but I think Jack Black could
one
also
for
do.
each tentacle.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
Jack
Each
Black would
time
be
he
great.
shows up, he'll be played by a different person.
Right.
Just because he's that weird. And like, how does he show up in the middle of the sky? I don't know. Anyways, yeah. I was just thinking Jack Black, he could totally be Ultros just because he's
That'd
that
be great.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I think
okay.
it's really good.
Anyways, Kefka.
Yes.
So, man, oh man, another one that, well, I was gonna say complex. Yes, I mean he's not like a full 3-dimensional character, but and I said this in the Discord, the thing about him is that you see his descent into madness. I mean,
yes.
he starts off pretty crazy, but he also seems like a petulant kind of kid character, and like you mentioned, he is kind of just for comic relief at first. You know, you can laugh at the guy, but oh my goodness, by the end of the game, it's insane. Like he's almost like a Joker type character, but he doesn't start as like a maniacal. He has his ideas. He just wants power, and he'll do anything to get it. Whereas by the end of the game, he's just completely insane. So anyways, someone who can play that level of insanity it was kind of difficult to pin down. My first thought was possibly Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Just because he's such a method actor, I think he might be able to pull it off.
Yeah. Yeah. And he played crazy in American Psycho. And he was amazing in it.
Yeah.
And it was a different kind of crazy, but yeah,
right.
he can do it. And some people, one person I saw on the internet, if this was not somebody who had to been alive, Heath Ledger would have been great, but unfortunately, he's not with us. Some people online mentioned Jim Carrey, which I think I would love to see Jim Carrey, like when Kefka starts saying, I hate you. I would love to see Jim Carrey do that. But I don't think that Jim Carrey has that kind of, I don't think that the audience is going to believe that he's as big of a threat as he is.
Right. Yeah. I've never seen him do diabolical.
Right.
I've seen him do dramatic, and I've seen him do comedic, but yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. The person I came up with is actually the same person that if they did a Next Generation reboot, I would cast as Data. But Michael Fassbender.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. When you said that,
so the newer Alien films would honestly not be worth seeing except because of Fassbender.
Yeah,
but he alone makes them worthwhile, and he
he is great in them.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
not as much the first one, but Covenant. Covenant was the second.
Okay.
Right?
You know, I honestly don't think I saw any past Prometheus because I was just wow.
Well, Prometheus was a very good movie. It was a terrible alien film.
It was a great looking movie. Anyway,
but Covenant was an alien film, and that's what I liked about it. And Fassbender's back in it, and he is so. Like that word, diabolically evil in it.
Okay.
That I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we gave him lines like one of my favorite lines that he does in the game is says something like you people all sound like self-help books. Or,
yeah.
I'm not sure how, like the wackiness of Kefka, but
Right.
of that of being able to kind of put on a false face, but you can see in his eyes that he's up to no good. I think Fassbender would be amazing in that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. I've got one more, but I can't remember if you had mentioned him or not. But I was thinking possibly Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, I hadn't mentioned him, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I think he'd be great.
Because he can do that kind of like Nightcrawler, like just that creepy, like, wait, what is going on? But he can also, like, he can laugh and make you think like, oh, this guy's out of his mind. Yeah. Kind of that weirdness. I haven't seen him do straight up slapstick, but he does definitely have a range, and he's not very, he's unassuming.
Yes.
So
yes, yeah. I think he has he definitely has the range. I think he can pull it off really well. He's really good.
Yeah.
I didn't think of a director. I just thought of I should have picked a director, but that just came into my mind, and so
man.
I think William Shatner's the way to go on that one.
Why can't I think of his name? No, one of my favorite directors. What's his name? Gareth something.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Is it Gareth Evans? No. I feel really dumb.
Edwards?
Yes, that's what it is.
I'm Googling that, don't...
I'm like, it's something like that. Yeah. But I don't know that he could do a full serious movie. I'm not even sure that I would want him to do a full serious movie. Someone, yeah, I don't know, man.
I did not even think through that at all. I just sprung that on you just to be mean, just so that we could go all, finish this out, and just such a whimper. Like, we had this great cast, and now we failed.
But
darn.
Who's actually gonna do it? Christopher Nolan, maybe.
I can't.
But then you'd have to talk him off the ledge with doing like CGI Mog. There would be way too much CGI if it were Christopher Nolan.
I don't know that he would do it, or he would make it so realistic. Like, we would spend a lot of time in the factories making Magitech.
Yeah.
And he'd be explaining Magicite, he would be explaining how it all works together. Sid would become a main character as he's giving tours, is like, and this is how this works.
That's a good point.
We definitely would not have Phantom Train with Nolan. or we would have a quantum theory on how that works.
Right. Exactly. Oh man, think of like when the World of Ruin science stuff, where he goes into the dream world and whatever.
Oh yeah,
that would all be mucked up quite a bit.
Inception 2,
right?
Fantasy style.
Exactly. So, well, I did have one more thought. It's not a director. But you had mentioned, and this totally makes sense for the time, only because this format is popular right now is why it comes to mind. I would think that this would make a great mini series,
yes,
as opposed to a trilogy,
yes,
because then you could have episodes focused around each character,
right?
And I think that would be the way to go nowadays. Now, I mean, back when you were in college, I mean, were there any miniseries that were like big event kind of deal? And none of them had the budget of a full movie like a lot of stuff does nowadays.
Yeah. It's like I mean, thankfully they did The Stand as a miniseries, because that budget was crap, but it was good. But it was still good, and so, we had stuff like that. And The Langoliers would not have made a good movie. It made a great miniseries.
Okay.
And I think that was only like 4 hours long, but it was still really good. Actually, everything Stephen King was a good miniseries.
There you go.
But yeah, the what we can do now on Netflix, and all the competing different places, Hulu and Amazon Prime and stuff. It really has opened up storytelling so much where we can, where like doing a Daredevil TV show turned out to be so much better than a Daredevil movie would have been, even in the Marvel universe.
Yeah. But definitely more than the one that was actually made.
Well, yes. But I mean, in there you can do stuff like you could go 3-4 hours before you even introduce Kingpin.
Right.
You've mentioned him, but then he steps onto the screen and he's amazing.
Yeah.
And being able to do stuff like that is very, very cool. Stranger Things, which just suck as a movie.
Right.
But you could really focus on character a lot more. And, especially like in the world of Ruin, you could actually, you could delve into, a little episode on what each character ended up.
Yeah.
Where they ended up after, the big explosion. It would let things breathe a lot more instead of trying to pack things in. Cause even splitting into 3 movies, like the script I wrote goes way too fast. Besides sucking.
Okay.
I mean, it just sucks on its own merits, but it goes way too fast. There's a lot of plot between, going into Narshe the first time and leaving Narshe the second time. There's a lot of plot, and you haven't even really gotten into most of this stuff, but you've dealt with, oh gosh, what's Science City's name? The castle.
Doma,
thank you.
Right.
You've dealt with the poisoning of Doma, Fujaro, going underground and the kind of battle of wits with Kefka, the splitting of the party that's going 3 different ways, which is a great part of the game.
So good.
And, meeting up back in Narshe and, going into the Veld with Gao and, having to deal with him. There's a ton of stuff that happens in the first third of the game. Yeah. And, I do think it would be much better, much better as a longer miniseries, rather than trying to fit it into 3 movies.
There you go. So it's not quite as lame as not thinking of a director.
Right. And thankfully we don't need to think of a composer because the music's already written for us.
Oh, so good. You just said the Veld and it started playing in my head.
Oh yeah.
So good. But anyways.
Yes. So this went way longer than I thought it would. I really appreciate you hanging out. Goodness, I'm sorry.
Oh, you don't have to apologize. This is a short episode for what I'm usually a part of. Yes. And now you see why. Because it just keeps tangents everywhere. Just going everywhere.
And our pre-show was much shorter than y'all's normally is too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So thank you for keeping me on track. You were better at brevity today than normal. True. It's true. You kept my little sneaky, squeaky, mousy ways from traveling into too many holes in the wall. I don't know what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense.
I do remember I sent you a screenshot where Broccolo in the game asked my character to deliver something for him, and he says, I would do it myself, but I promised my sofa some quality time.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of an amazing excuse that I need to learn to use in the future.
That is pretty good.
So where do people find you?
Oh man, I'm all over the place. Well, like you said, my main podcast is the Backlog Breakdown. So if you're into, you're listening to this, you're probably into retro video. Not that we're all about retro video games, but we're about kind of taking a look at video games from the standpoint of things like stewardship and being able to enjoy the hobby well, while also just like talking about the things that we really love. Spoiler alert, Final Fantasy VI is one of my favorite games. Like, it fights with Chrono Trigger as my favorite game of all time. So obviously I have lots of things to say on it, which kind of gushed out on this episode as well.
Right.
So, what was that?
Oh, I was going to ask, is it upcoming, or are we supposed to have already been starting playing the old 3D Super Mario Brothers? 2D Mario Brothers? Is that a thing?
Yes, so that's upcoming. We haven't even talked about it in an official capacity.
Sorry,
but that was no. You're good, man.
We'll bleep out the name of the game.
No way.
It'll just be and whenever I need to bleep something, it's always the Yoshi sound. So we'll put it in as Super Brothers, and no one will know what game we're talking about.
Right, any of those 2D Super Brothers games.
Yeah. Which I'm actually excited about, because there's two things that I've wanted to do. I have beaten everything in Mario 3, but I've never done 100% run where I beat every level in a row.
Oof.
And now that I have versions of Mario Brothers, that Super Mario Bros. 3 that can have save functions, I was like, it's about time I should do that. And also I never beat Mario 2. I love that game. Okay. I never beat it.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping to tackle a couple of those, hopefully at least one as we go.
Yeah. And that's American Mario 2?
Right, yeah.
Or okay. No,
yeah. I have beaten the Lost Levels, and that's probably the hardest game I've ever beaten.
Yeah, I thought you had said that, and that's like ridiculous. I've never gotten more than like 6 levels in. It's whew.
Oh yeah, it was actually a relaxation thing for me.
Wow.
After I got a little into it and I stopped caring if I was dying because I had saved. Well,
gotcha.
The All-Star version, the SNES All-Star version on Lost Levels lets you save every single level.
Okay.
And so at very worst, like on Mario 1, 2, and 3, the American 2 and 3, that you can save at the world beginning, not the level beginning, but the world. But on Mario Lost Levels, they let you save at the world. And so there were some levels that I died like 40 times, but I stopped caring because I was able to save it. And I just I fell into this like just really cool state where it's like, it was helping me relax a lot. And, I loved that game. I thought it was great. It's very hard, but it was fun.
Nice. I didn't know it let you do that. And now that it's on this doesn't pertain to anyone who stays 2 generations behind, but it is on the Switch Virtual Library or whatever it's called, console. So you can have it there as well. And that, that does save states. So that'll help.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, no, so that'll be fun when we get around to them. Right now, it's Animal Crossing that's taking up a bunch of my time. Animal Crossing on Switch, just gotta say, it's one of those games where like I'm like, okay, I just need to get X, Y, and Z done. It'll take me like 15 minutes, and then an hour later, I've done like X and Y and B and F and Q on my way to do Z, and I'm just like, how have I been playing this for an hour? Like it's weird, especially, I mean, you've talked about it previous episodes, but it's like the game doesn't necessarily have very defined objectives, but there's so much to do.
Yeah.
So it's and
right, and none of it is urgent.
Yeah.
And you will be distracted by something else. And I think that's intentional. It's like, I go in there and I was like, okay, I got to water my radish and I got to, send a couple of letters, cause I was getting upset. Aurora was trying to leave town.
Wow.
And so I had to start putting on the charm, baby. And then today Broccolo told me that he's thinking about leaving. I'm like, no, you are not allowed to leave.
Here,
And
stupid rat.
but yeah, it's like, I find myself, it's like, like the other day, it's like, you know, Unluck came through. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like, Broccolo wants a bee. It's like, what? Broccolo wants a bee. I'm looking for a bee. She's like, okay. It's like, yeah, but it's the same thing. It's like, you know, I ended up finding some fossils. Like, oh, that's looking really cool. You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and the thing I found out this week, and I did not know that my grass wore down if I ran on it.
Okay.
And so it's like my whole town was starting to look like garbage. And so I built paths around the town. So I would stay on the path as, you know, for guideposts on where to walk.
Mhm.
So I did that. So again, it's like, what
There
are
you
you doing? Laying concrete. I'm like intricately designing the path marker thing and putting it down, and just like, okay, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. It has this uncanny ability to like get you to do things that you didn't think you would want to actually do.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. Like it really is remarkable that you know, that this works as a game. I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah,
it's like it's like all the worst things about like RPGs, like Fetch Quest. It's like, let's take everything fun out of an RPG and just leave the stuff that everyone hates, like Collectathons and Fetch Quest. And it works. And talking to villagers. That's what it is. It's an RPG with no levels, no fighting, no objective, no plot.
Man, oh man. And it's one that you can't progress in the story yourself. You have to wait.
Right.
You have to wait. Also, there's no end to the story. It doesn't go anywhere.
It's like the whole game is like that part in Earthbound when you're standing at the waterfall for 3 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Am I being punked right now? Like, I don't even know. How do I like this? Why does this work? This shouldn't. Anyways, that was another tangent. I only brought up Animal Crossing to say that I have been thinking about playing Super Brothers, but I haven't gotten around to it because whenever I pick up my Switch, I'm like, oh, I'll put 15 minutes in Animal Crossing, and it's not 15 minutes. But yeah, so yeah, Backlog Breakdown is probably the best way. If you want to reach out to me personally, I don't know, Facebook, Twitter. On Twitter, my handle is Broccolope. That's BROCCOLOPE. Because someone I used to. What's that?
They know how to spell it. They play Animal Crossing.
Oh, well, yeah, but the P, you gotta make sure.
P at the end.
Yes,
P at the
exactly. Maybe I should change my profile picture, which I don't think I've ever changed since I got a Twitter, to that dang mouse. That would be kind of funny.
But were you going to explain? Because I don't know this. Were you going to explain why you have that?
Oh, it was just a dumb nickname that one of my coworkers gave me when I worked at a coffee shop out of college.
Nice.
Because my last name is so weird and unique. He's just like, oh yeah, like, you know, antelope, broccolope, jackalope. You're a broccolope. But come to find out, it's not very unique. So, well, anyways, I made a date with my couch. So no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me today and doing this.
Yeah, man,
this was fun.
Is so much fun. I like it.
We'll do Final Fantasy VII next. So
yes, yeah. Just let me know. I might be a little booked that day, but let me know, and we'll see. Okay. Final tangent. I promise. I don't even remember. Oh, it was on some list. I was watching YouTube. There was a list of like good Switch indie games or something like that. There's this game called Death Road to Canada. And I don't even know much about what it's about. But there was an NPC, or not an NPC, there was like a party member in this game that was clearly like a ripoff of a Final Fantasy VII, the main character. Like, you know, just spiky hair, whatever. Yeah. He vaguely had the same clothes. And his name was Oh my goodness, what was it? His first. It was. Give me just a second.
This is not the best story you've told today.
No, it's not. But I saw it and I was just like, oh my goodness. It makes me want to play the game just because I feel like it's a little bit of mockery. His name is Nimbus Ordeal. And I was like, oh, that is good. I like, and then it showed, because I just saw him on the little character screen, and so it just showed his head. And I was like, oh, that kind of looks like Final Fantasy. And it just said Nimbus. And I was like, I see you. I see you there. And then it showed him in battle, and of course he had the big Buster Sword, and so I was like, okay, it's a little more on the nose, but it was Nimbus Ordeal, and I was like, okay, that's funny.
Great.
I like that's a good joke.
That's funny.
Anyways,
all right, well, awesome. Well, we will leave it at that, and thank you everyone for joining us. And you can catch Technofunkboy on Twitter, on Facebook. Please consider supporting us on Patreon. You might get a copy of this script. I should at least do some page scans. Okay, I will do some page scans for Patreon. Patreon.com/TechnoFunkBoy. Oh gosh,
I like it.
But we will catch you next week. Appreciate it.
Bye.
The Retro Zoo Super Show is brought to you by the Technofunkboy. Follow us on Twitter at Technofunkboy, on Facebook at the Technofunkboy, and sign up for our email list at technofunkboy.com. Also look for us on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon for music. If you are so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast catcher. If you are not so inclined, you are obviously some sort of villain trying to conquer the world. Unowned music and gameplay clips are used for educational and critical purposes. Thank you for listening, keep gaming, and once you have responsibilities that need to be done at this time, then you can game later.